Hey, I'm the cat toy lady. And hopefully,
Okay,
okay,
now I
now
should
I should
have the
have the
sound
sound
right.
right.
So,
So,
hi,
hi,
I'm the
I'm the
cat
cat
toy
toy
lady.
lady.
Please let
Please
me
let
know
me
if
know
you
if
hear
you
a
hear
little
a
bit
little
of
bit
an
of an
echo. I'm
echo. I'm
trying
trying
something
something
new
new
with
with
using my
using my
phone as a
phone as a
camera so
camera
I
so
can
I can
drive the
drive the
iPad,
iPad,
which
which
controls
controls
everything.
everything.
See if
See if
that
that
helps.
helps.
If
If
not, I
not,
can
I can
switch
switch
straight
straight
over to the
over to the
iPad.
iPad.
So, let me
Let me
know if
know
it
if
kind
it
of
kind of
sounds
sounds
funny, if
funny,
there's
if there's
any
any
issues.
issues.
But
But
there's a
there's a
lot I
lot
kind
I
of
kind of
wanted to
wanted to
go
go
over with
over
you
with you
guys
guys
today
today
of a
of a
Charlie
Charlie
update.
update.
He's
He's
had a
had a
lot of
lot of
things
things
going on
going
this
on this
past
past
couple
couple
months,
months,
so
so
I thought
I
I
thought
would
I would
fill in
fill in
everyone.
everyone.
So
So
I
I
will
will
just
just
see,
see,
give me a
give me a
thumbs
thumbs
up
up
if
if
the
the
sound is
sound is
good, or
good,
if
or
there's
if
an
there's an
echo,
echo.
let me
Let me
know and I
know,
can
and I can
switch
switch
over
over
back to the
back to
other
the other
camera real
camera real
quick.
quick.
In the
In the
meantime, I'm
meantime,
going to
I'm
have to
gonna have
sip
to
real
sip real
quick.
quick.
Hopefully you
Hopefully
all
you
are
all are
doing
doing
well.
well.
So there
So
is
there
an
is an
echo.
echo.
Darn.
Darn.
Okay,
Okay,
let's
let's
see.
see.
I'm
I'm
going
going
to
to
switch
switch
to
to
the
the
other
other
camera
camera
then
then
and
and
get rid of
get
that
rid of
one.
that one.
So let
So let
me
me
see if I
see
can
if I can
raise my
raise my
table. Okay,
table.
that's
Okay,
this.
that's this.
All right,
All
I'll
right,
get,
I'll get
are
are
going to
going
get
to
to
get
get
to get
the
the
lovely
lovely
side
side
angle
angle
or
or
chin
chin
angle,
angle.
we'll
We'll
say.
say.
Okay,
Okay.
so let
So
me
let
get
me
out
get
of
out of
that
that
app
app
and get
and get
into
into
everything
everything
with you
with you
guys.
guys.
So
So
yeah,
yeah,
Charlie.
Charlie.
There's a
There's a
lot of
lot of
stuff
stuff
going
going
on.
on.
Let's
Let's
see if
see
I
if I
can.
can.
Is it
Is it
still
still
echoing?
echoing?
Let me
Let me
know.
know.
For
For
some
some
reason,
reason,
seems like
seems
there
like there
might be
might
on
be on
my
my
end
end
because
because
I can
I can
hear
hear
me
me
and it
and it
shouldn't be
shouldn't be
happening.
happening.
You
You
gotta
gotta
love
love
technology,
technology,
right?
right?
Okay, maybe that fixed it. Just my built-in microphone. For some reason, even though my phone was off, it was still picking up the microphone, it says. It's always experimenting with these things. But here, I'll back up a little since you'll get my lovely double chin here. But so, Charlie, right now he's doing very, very well. Little snag, but something that was to be kind of expected. It's common, but it's not unusual, I guess you could say, for the fact that he had an ear surgery, if you didn't know. I try to keep Instagram and YouTube posts kind of up to date on what was going on. So let me get into my own chat real quick and see what's going on here. Oh, with my own volume up. All right. Oh, and it is not showing me for some reason on my app all the comments. So hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Um, hopefully, yeah, fixed. Good. Thank you, Sue. All right. Technology. Um, every time they do an update to an app, it makes things a little different. And I already have problems with these apps for some reason. I'm not bad with computers, but the streaming apps are my enemy. But let's go into Charlie. Let me get some stuff loaded here. So I kind of set up everything to do a step-by-step timeline. If you've seen some of these pictures or videos, it's because they've been on my Instagram or on YouTube or Facebook. Um, the stuff in like his x-rays are all going to be brand new for everyone. So I thought I would just kind of share his cute little personality. He loves to sit on people. It can be, or animals. So let me start here. So this is Charlie. I had just walked into the bedroom and he followed me in. And my old man, Donnie, that's the brown tabby, and Charlie's best buddy, Ellie Mae, were cuddled up having their little cuddle time. And Charlie just thought that Ellie needed to be sat on. And Ellie started to struggle to get out. Um, this is, you're going to notice from the pictures, this is a common theme. Charlie loves to sit on Ellie Mae. He will sit really on anyone, but Ellie Mae, of course, is his favorite. And then we have Charlie showing me how proud he is of himself, Ellie trying to get out, and Donnie looking pissed off that his nice warm cuddle buddy is now leaving and he's left with the orange monster. Um, Ellie and Donnie get along very well. Charlie just thinks that Donnie needs to play with him, and Donnie just, he's not much of a player unless it's a red light. That's the only thing he really likes to play with. So yeah, that is where we are. And then one last real quick cute picture before I come back to me of Charlie. I told him to smile, and no joke, this is what happened when I took the picture. I swear this cat smiles. You've probably seen in his videos where his whiskers wiggle back and forth, but you can tell him to smile and he will spread his whiskers backwards and it becomes a grin. Maybe he was a human in a past life. That's the only thing I can figure. So yeah, so Charlie just, you say smile and he does this with his whiskers and then they go straight back, and yeah, it makes a smile. So that's his cuteness and his smile. I wanted to show you guys a little bit of an update of Christmas. If you saw last year's Christmas tree, I reused it, and Charlie just, it was very fun for him to climb. They even like the very top layers. I still haven't figured out how they managed to stay on the very top one, but it was definitely a happy place. All the cats loved it. Um, I want to make it out of wood for next year, just because having a 17-pounder and then two 9-pound kittens on it did make it, as you can see, it kind of sags a little when Charlie's on it. And the 17-pounder, it sagged a little bit more. Nothing ever broke. Nothing leaned down to the point that cats were rolling off. But it was definitely a curve to it. Charlie loved it. He was on the Christmas tree every day. Ellie Mae figured out that she could kind of angle the boxes underneath that I made to look like Christmas presents, to where she could have a hidey hole in the middle and be able to sneak attack on Cindy. I think I showed that in one of my Instagram videos, where it might have been Instagram, YouTube. It was one or the other. But Ellie Mae would stick her little paw out and attack Cindy's butt and then go back in to where Cindy couldn't catch her, because Cindy's 17 pounds and cannot fit underneath. Oh, no, no, no. I don't declaw. I'm very anti-declaw. Um, I ask because mine have claws. I can't get another unless it's declawed. Well, they're pushing to make declawing against the law because it is actually so cruel to cats, and we are the only modern nation that actually allows it. It's banned in Canada. I think it's even banned in Mexico. All of the UK, it's banned. Declawing is taking this last knuckle off. It's not just removing a claw. It's literally taking the ends of their fingers off. And then it changes the conformation of how they stand. And it can cause severe arthritis. I had a baby that, before I knew about declawing and how bad it was, by 5 years old, she was already on pain medication for arthritis. She had it all in her shoulders. She would lick her paws bald. She was just in a lot of pain at 5 years old, and she still lived another 10 years. So that was a long time to have to keep her on medications to try to keep her comfortable, because she was noticeably limping by 5. So no declawing. Do the rubber caps. I recommend the Soft Paws brand, just because they have these little grips on the inside that make you be able to use less glue and they hold on better. Or just constant nail trims. Every 2 weeks do a nail trim. But let's see. Oh, Rachel's 7 minutes behind. It's okay. And yeah, I definitely wait till you move. Declawing, it just, as a person that works with cats only in the past and doing cat toys, and I try to keep myself very educated on cat stuff. And declawing is just, it's a lot more cruel than we realize. And a lot of vets still offer it because they think that they do a better job than others. So why not them offer the service instead of them going to someone who does a bad job? But at the same time, they're still perpetuating the decline. So look, there are some vets that are anti-declaw. Highly recommend them. But that was kind of off topic. But yes, I'm so anti-declaw, I got off on a tangent. But talking about Charlie sitting on people. his favorite person, I'm sure you've all seen the videos. Charlie has a thing for my husband more than me, which is just horribly upsetting, by the way. I've never had a cat go for him over me the entire time. I am the cat person. But Charlie is just in love with Jeremy, and it's the right shoulder only. If you put him on the left shoulder, he crawls over to the right shoulder and immediately puts his head down, and he'll even just about instantly fall asleep. He closes his eyes and he's just ready for a nap. It's like a baby when you put them up on the shoulder. And so, yeah, Charlie and Jeremy are best buddies. I mean, let's see. Let's get you guys a video of this. Let's see if it'll play. Yeah. So this is one of the one of the only times that Charlie
I'm the
did
one that
insist on
peeled
being
him
up on
up
the
off the side of the
shoulder.
road, so I deserve this respect.
And
Look at that face.
was in Jeremy's arms. But from this angle, it almost looks like they have the same hair color. My husband's a blonde, though. Red beard, blonde hair. But yes, he definitely knows who saved him. He's floored, and I can't imagine what it's going to be like. Jeremy is gone for 2 weeks. So, with Jeremy being gone, doing a Florida mixed with Adventures with Purpose trip. For those of you that don't know, my husband is exploring with Nug, and he does everything from river scuba diving to find treasures or the weirdness that's under bridges, all the way through finding people that are missing in their cars. In the cars, not out of the cars. That's a whole nother thing for people. But so yeah, he is gone for 2 weeks, and he's been gone one night, and Charlie was already getting needy this morning. So maybe he'll become my favorite, even though I'm still having to medicate him. But we're down to every other day on his steroids. And I will get into why he needs the steroids in just a minute. But I figured I'd show some more cute pictures. And here's more Christmas. If you saw, I made the snowman bed that was melting. The cats really loved it. It held a lot of good heat for them, so they slept together in it all the time. And then we have, this is what happens when you pull warm scrubs out of the dryer to get dressed in the morning. You set them down, get your kids on the bus, turn back around, and look, you now have fur-covered clean scrubs, or if they were clean. So there's nothing like sticky rollering just so you can go to work. And then sticky rollering all day since I work with pets. And oh, look, another one. Charlie sat on Ellie. Ellie was nursing on the blanket in front of me between my legs. And Charlie just had to come and plop down. Ellie does try to kind of get out from underneath him somewhat, and then she just kind of gives up. And then let's see. Oh, I will show you. Pay no attention to the messy living room. This is just how it is for a little bit while we're still packing and getting things done around the house for moving. So this is what any given day can look like in my house. Ellie Mae in the big beaten bag. Charlie curled up with someone. Typically it's going to be Kitty if it's not Ellie Mae. He's a snuggler. Whether they're willing or not, you can tell Kitty may not be all too amused, but she does have that resting grump face. So you can't quite tell when she is grumpy and when she isn't. So let's go on to some of his issues he's been having. So if you see here, Charlie has a fat lip. He's been having, he started having a severe head tilt. He was jumping, angling to the side, and he was missing some of his jumps, or just being a stupid kitten, and the fact that he isn't a good jumper to start with, trying to take jumps that he shouldn't, and he gave himself a fat lip. He actually did this 5 times so far. So more than once this has happened. I've had 2 different vets check it out. It's always fluidy pouches. So he literally gave himself a fat lip. We were we were afraid that because he was having ear infection after ear infection. He went on antibiotics 4 times, 3 different ear medications. It was running out his nose, causing debris. His eye had debris coming out the tear duct because everything's connected. I was afraid that the infection was kind of just sliding down and pulling up at his chin. But we determined that it probably wasn't that it was more that he jumped and bunked his face, since it was 5 different occasions and it usually went away about the next day or two. So that's probably going to continue occasionally for him. He hasn't broken his jaw, at least I'll be able to show you that. Um, we've confirmed that. But yeah, he's just, even now that he is healing and his head tilt is gone finally, um, he doesn't jump gracefully. I don't think he ever will. He tries to keep up with Ellie Mae, who can jump up onto a 6-foot cabinet without a problem. She's magic. Charlie can't do that. He can barely jump onto the kitchen table. Half the time he misses and his back legs swing underneath and then he falls onto his back. He's also the cat that if you go to just place him down on the ground with his front legs first, he'll tuck his front legs and just let his face hit. I did not do that. My daughter did, but she's 10. She knows that cats usually put their paws out, especially when they're already outstretched. But again, Charlie is a special boy. And that's just, we think, how he's going to be. He is 10 months old now. He did, let's see. Let me show you the video of, so we went to one specialist. Let me kind of like load the video for you. We went to one specialist and it didn't go well. I got the baby vet that wasn't actually the specialist. Apparently I had to see the baby vet that's taking over the practice before I could see the internal medicine specialist, so her husband, the surgeon, could do Charlie. I don't know why it was going that way. But we suspected that Charlie had developed an ear polyp, or that's had been there all along. That's why when I found him, he had the infection in his face. Then he had been on antibiotics for that. Then 3 weeks later, back on antibiotics. And then about a month later, back on antibiotics. And it's just been that way. Nothing seems to keep the infection away, even a month long of antibiotics. He did clindamycin after 2 rounds of clavamox, if you know what these antibiotics are for pets. He did the clindamycin for a month straight. And within less than a week of coming off the clindamycin, the infections started coming back. So it's just been kind of craziness. So at that point, we knew that there was either a malformation in his ear, or it was a polyp bulging things into the ear canal, and we couldn't see the full eardrum, so we didn't know if his ear canal was his eardrum was fully intact, or what was truly going on in there. And he's not the best behaved when it comes to getting his ears checked. He's shredded 2 towels so far with his back legs while getting his ears cleaned out and medicating. And I don't scruff. We do fear-free. So because of the stress of everything, we started, for anything he needed to do, doping him up a bit with what's called gabapentin, which is a nerve medication, but in high doses can make him a bit loopy. It's like a happy cocktail. And we mix it with what's called buprenorphine. And that is a pain medication that they use as like a pre-medication or post-medication for surgeries. So, yeah, we just make him a bit high, and then he's just willing to let us do whatever we want. So I dope him up a bit. He's still able to walk. It's nothing like serious. He's just happy to be there. And take him to this first baby vet. She basically says she can't see anything past the infection in his ear, the debris that's in there, and wouldn't clean it out for some reason to look past it. And I had told her, this is on Saturday, I see her. The Monday before, we did an exam, my boss and I worked for a mobile vet. But again, we do not do surgeries except for the spays and neuters of kittens and puppies. So we're not set up for bigger things. So she basically treats me like I don't know how to read an ear cytology, which is looking at the bacteria and the yeast under a microscope or whatever the debris is. And acts like my boss can't even read one, then treats me like I oversedated the cat and tells me that she can't get a neurologic exam done on him, even though he obviously has a head tilt. So there's something neurologic. But yeah, I just did not like the feel of it. I had been a vet tech and I specialized in cats only for years, cats only at a clinic. 22 years I've been a vet tech. So for this woman who, after I looked her up, had been out, I think about 6 months ish, maybe a year, she was in preschool when I started as a vet tech. So she needs to learn some better bedside manners. I'm just saying, since I know a vet tech that works at that practice that might see this, just kind of let her know that that's why I didn't come back. It's not cool to treat people like they don't know what they're talking about when they say that they're also in your field. Called benefit of the doubt. But so his when we had done the ear cytology the Monday before, so 5 days before, there was nothing seen on it. No bacteria, no yeast. We even did a mite check just because it had that weird chunkiness to it. And he's been on Revolution, and that's the medication that does fleas, heartworms, and ear mites. So he shouldn't have had them. But I tell her all this. I give her the full right of everything, the way everything has come back, like a very detailed history. She treats me like I don't know what I'm doing and that she doesn't believe the history. And it just didn't go over well. Got a very bad taste in my mouth, decided to go somewhere else. So I got in with, I didn't realize this doctor that we refer to all the time for more of a workup from my practice. I didn't realize she did ear polyp surgery. Or I would have gone there in the first place. It was much closer. And she's adorable. Just this very good bedside manner, the complete opposite of what I had. So I take Charlie in, and this is us at the first appointment with her. So we're here waiting at the doctor's office for his new ear check. He's a bit stoned. Hopefully you can hear this. He had happy meds because he kind of fights when you try to look at his ear. So now, better living through chemistry. So you can see there, his pupils were really big. He's just nice and chill, happy to be there. Please let me know if the sound did not play for you. That's my first time through this program trying to play a video with a lot of sound to it. So let me know. Again, experimentation. By the way, these things are delicious if you like cream soda. These Zevias. But, so Charlie goes in and she sees the exact same thing that my boss and I saw. That there's something structural in the way. She can't see the full eardrum. She doesn't think he needs to get an ear cytology because she believes the ear cytology that I ran 2 days before. So she also has the gut feeling that there's an ear polyp and doesn't think that he needs more antibiotics or anything, that he just needs to go ahead and get his ear taken care of. And I think that was a Monday or a Tuesday. And they did the surgery the following Friday. So at this point, we're 22 days out from his surgery at right now. Okay, it did work. Thank you, Lisa. And hello, Lisa. So yeah, so that's where we are with, they did the surgery. They were supposed to send me pictures of what the ear polyp looked like, but I've called a couple times and I get the x-rays, but I think the doctor might have to be the one to send the ear polyps pictures. But basically it's like a kind of a more solid bubble that's in the ear. Charlie's, she said, was they use a really small scope. They went up his nose and into the ear canal that direction to make sure that the polyp wasn't in the sinuses too. His was bulging into the sinuses but hadn't developed into it. It was just in the ear. So they did a slice on the inside of his ear and pulled out the polyp, and it makes just this bubble, this ball. For a kitten, it was a significant size. The downside is those things occasionally can grow back. And let's face it, with Charlie's odds, he would be the cat that it grows back in. I'm fully aware. I'm going to look for signs of it. It can be something slow growing. Myself, I've had sinus polyps before. Mine were so severe that they blocked all airway through my nose and I couldn't even smell. I lost all sense of smell. And by the way, yes, I could still taste. People ask me that one all the time. When I say I lost my sense of smell, my taste still worked. It's some things were a little off or a little bland, but yeah, 100% occlusion through all 5 sinus cavities. So I have had surgery to remove those. Not not fun. It's almost up there with the kidney surgeries. More like the kidney tube going in, if you guys have been following me, where I had to have the nephrostomy bag put in, and they couldn't sedate me like they normally do because the medication they wanted to use I was allergic to. So I got to be awake as they stab a big needle in through my back into my kidney so they can put a drainage tube to hook a bag to. Worst pain ever. I will take child labor. I will take sinus surgery again. I thought sinus surgery was the worst. They proved that wrong. But so yeah, I felt bad for Charlie. We kept him very doped up. They gave him an injection of antibiotics, buprenorphine again, the pain medication that we use as the little medication to make him dopey, but in a smaller quantity, just pain medication level versus sedative level. So he functioned fine throughout the day, just not in pain. And steroids. He will be taking steroids for a month. It's a tapering dose where we start with a large amount and then we back it down. One, so it can't grow back, or lessens the chance of the polyp growing back. And then 2, when you mess with the ear canal, the swelling can put pressure on the nerve. It's not usually that the nerve gets permanently damaged. It just, the inflammation causes an issue. And that is called Horner's syndrome. And guess what Charlie has? Because, that's my cat. He had to get that too. So let me kind of show you this is, let me find the video the day he came home from surgery. Let's play that one first.
Hi, Charlie. Show everyone your eye. So Charlie's doing well after his surgery, but his third eyelid's still up. You can kind of see his little bald spot on his paw. But overall, he's doing very well. He got an antibiotic injection and steroids and pain meds. So he is a happy boy.
Okie dokie. So yeah, before surgery, Charlie was occasionally walking around with his ear kind of like flapped down. Even when on antibiotics, he acted like there's something irritating it. When it was really bad with the head tilt and the flap, I felt so sorry for him. But let's see. So, that's Charlie's fat lip. Let me find the right picture to show you. All right. So this is him 2 days after surgery. I left his carrier out for him because he did seem to like that one too. He does love his bubble carrier, the bubble backpack. And to take him to surgery, 1, I wanted one that gave him a little bit more room. And 2, I didn't want him to associate any negativity with the bubble carrier. If he thought that type of carrier meant he was going to go have surgery. But turns out he loved it. I left it in the living room. It does normally sit in our bedroom, but closed recently as we've been packing and moving. But I brought it back out to the living room and replaced where the bubble backpack sits. And yeah, it was just his happy place. And you can see his cute little paws crossed over, but you can see that third eyelid sticking up. And that is the sign of Horner syndrome. So that pupil on that side doesn't dilate the same way, and the third eyelid stays up. So that is the signs for it. But then he likes the carrier so much he's comfortable sleeping in it, even after the surgery. And then this was, 4 or 5 days. He was still on pain medications, but he
Drugs?
yeah.
Drugs? 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 Drugs!
You get bored sometimes. You see little things on a YouTube and you copy them. So I made my own with my cat being a spaz. So he wasn't feeling any pain. He was enjoying the pain meds, if you can't tell. What else do I have to show you? Oh, his x-rays. So let's do that real quick. Let's see. I circled some things to be able to go over with you. If you've ever heard me talk about how he has the lump behind his shoulders instead of where the shoulders are, I circled it here. So we did full body x-rays so we could just verify that his confirmation was him versus something that was wrong. We didn't want it to be something spinal and serious. Let me just say there was nothing that was serious. He just has a different confirmation. He is built literally like a lion. So instead of his fat pad being at his shoulder blades like a normal cat, his fat pad, which is circled in blue, sits behind the shoulder blades. So when his legs are actually extended straight down and the shoulder blades go up, his one do not come up very high. Like most cats kind of they poke up. His are a little bit shorter of shoulder blades, and his fat pad is behind where the shoulder blades come up, which is exactly like a lion. It's very odd. But you can see here, if you look through his mouth, you can see the trach tube that's in because he's sedated at this point. You can even see on his front leg, his IV catheter that's in his leg, and that his legs are bowed. He, again, is built like a lion. So he has bowed front legs. They're straight from one angle and the other angle they bow out. So, kind of like a Western rider, like you think of the cowboy that gets off the horse, how they're bowed that direction. That's how Charlie's are. And you can see his microchip too, right at his shoulder blades. His heart and lungs look good. Normally, for those of you in the vet field, if you see that much lung itself, normally you worry about asthma, but it was the setting that they used on this to be able to pick up the bone better, showed all the alveoli and the lungs. So you actually get to see all the little branches of his lungs. I think it's really neat. And then, of course, the diaphragm separates everything. I can just give you a little anatomy. He has 2 kidneys. I'll show those in the next one. And then you'll see he's got poop ready to come out. And then the rest of his intestines are empty. So let me find, where did I put that one? Oh no, it didn't load. Oh, maybe it did. I did it on the other one. Let's see. There we go. Okay, here's all my scribbles. So yes, 2 kidneys circled in orange. I drew an arrow to his poop. The yellow is another thing that's common for lions and not cats. He has an extra fat pad underneath his tail. So he's got an extra kind of coating that keeps his tail in that arc that you see where his tail doesn't come down and sit against his butt. It arcs out and then down. There's nothing wrong with the spine. Everything spine-wise isn't the vertebrae are the correct width apart. There's no compression. There's nothing physically that's wrong. It's just odd that he has these pads. It does happen in cats, but we mainly see it in things like big cats, like lions. And then green, the 2 circles, are his lymph nodes were notable. That happens on x-ray just because they have a little bit of an extra fat coating. Again, if you're noticing a theme for him, he kind of carries fat easier. So it made his lymph nodes visible on x-ray, which is, again, uncommon. And if you look in the very bottom corner at his tail, you can see the bend of the last joint of it. He came to us that way with the already hard kink to it. Sometimes it's rumored that kittens coming out of the womb can happen, or if something happens to them, like a bite, wrestling with other kittens, someone stepping on it, that type of thing. But he was about 10 weeks old when we found him. And then I did draw, if you see bladder written out with an arrow, that is his bladder, for those of you that are curious and know bladder stones. And then in blue, I circled something that was kind of neat. That's his primordial pouch. You know, when you see cats that have the little wobble between their legs, of the extra skin that hangs down, even though he's a kitten, he's already developed kind of a significant pouch. So he's a lion. Oh, one thing they did notice while he was sedated and they were able to get a good exam of his legs, his kneecaps pop out of place. It's common in dogs, but in cats, it's not that common. We call it a luxating patella, like Chihuahuas and the little teacup breeds. It's almost a given that theirs are going to do that. But I think I only remember one or two cats my entire career that had luxating patellas. They do stay in place, but they can be moved out. So there's a chance that it can get worse where they try to go out of place all the time. But yeah, it's just something that he may deal with in the future. So yeah, that's his x-rays. Yeah, Charlion. That is definitely his name. I wanted to show you his teeth, if you can kind of see. I know it's a little blurry when I blew it up. But if you look, you can see the parts that are clearly sticking up. Like you see the harder to see darker gray teeth sticking up. And then the lighter areas are the parts that are in the bone and underneath the gum tissue. And if you look at the very front canine, you see just a little tip coming up. And then how much of that tooth is actually underneath. So over half of a cat's tooth, and sometimes all the way up to about 2/3 of it, is underneath the gum line. So remember that when you think that your cat's teeth look good, but you don't want to really get them dental x-rays, you just want to get them cleaned. Dental x-rays are a must, just because so much of the tooth is hidden to us. But yeah, he's got all his adult teeth in and nothing looks wrong with them. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of show you guys that because I thought it was interesting myself when I first learned how much of the canine really goes underneath and wraps down the jaw. It's curved. And they took some pictures of him while he was on his back. And one leg on the right side, you can see the little R marker. You can still see that IV catheter. And then you see a piece of plastic up by his neck. That's at his paw. That's actually the inflator cuff where they put air in the trach tube to make it blow up with a balloon to keep it in place so it can't slide around. But you can see from this angle, his front legs look almost perfectly straight on the forearm part of it. He does have a little bit of some questioning of his development at his shoulders, but part of that is still growth plates. So up at his shoulders where the upper arm attaches, we're not too concerned with that yet. It'll be something that if he ever seems to limp or has issues, we'll look into further. And again, his heart's still in good shape. The spine looked great. And then they had his lower half, his hips. Normally when we try to do hip x-rays and we're really focusing on hips, we pull the legs all the way back and rotate the knees to where the kneecaps are almost pointed in. And that's what lines them up. So you can really get a better look. Here, we can't tell if where the ball joint is at the hips. They do look a little different from each other. And it could just be the angle that one leg's at versus the other. But we do suspect that there may be something going on since one side of the hip, even though the hips are angled, looks like it may be sticking down a little bit farther. But again, that could just be his positioning. I wasn't there to take the x-rays, so I can't be as picky. But that's the joy of not having x-ray on your mobile unit. You can't control everything. So yeah, that is everything with Charlie. Oh, I think I showed you the head already. Oh, I showed you the neck. They did also do just a head and cervical of the neck area of the x-rays. And this is after they did the polyp surgery, so you wouldn't be able to see any of the thicker tissue in the ear canals, unfortunately. But yeah, so I thought I would just show you everything. And yeah, so that's what we're dealing with. Charlie's third eyelid still comes up. I think I got a picture of it. I might have accidentally skipped it. Let's see. I guess that one of him in the carrier shows it best. I might be able to add one real quick. Let's see. So ignore me as I go through my photos. Oh, let's go the other direction. Let's see. Char with the eyelid. Oh, that's a good one. I will add that. Okay. So there you go. So that is, forgive my phone shadow, but that is what Charlie currently looks like. The third eyelid is down just a bit, but the pupils are not even. The one underneath the third eyelid stays fairly constricted, even when he's on pain medication, and the other one barely has any color to it. So, let's see. maybe he'll end up being 30 pounds. He is about 10 months old, so I think he's actually going to be on the petite side, or he feels petite compared to my 17-pounder. Right now he's 9 pounds, so he'll probably round out at a good even 10, unless he gets fluffy, which I'm trying to control because I'm using mainly wet food to feed them. So it's helping control the weight, but he does, again, seem to make excess fat pads, which is uncommon for a cat. So who knows, there could be something else in addition to that. It's extremely rare to have a kitten with Cushing's disease, which is extra steroid to the body. That came out with a big lisp. But yeah, making too much steroid. And that can cause fat pads. His lab work so far came out fine. So we don't know if it's kind of a precursor to it or if there's something else metabolic that doesn't show up in the standard chemistry panels and CBC panels that we've run. But I do jokingly call him my $1 million cat because I just had this gut feeling. You know, our 16-year-old cat has only ever had checkups and regular lab work, never had anything wrong with her. Charlie is going to make up for that. But yeah, he's no more discharge from his nose or eye. It's just, and he's no longer holding the ear down. And after surgery, he was trying to scratch in his ears a couple times. He's not doing that either. So again, I think I said 22 days. I meant to say 15 days. We are 2 weeks and 1 day out of surgery. So correction on 22 days. Apparently I added a week in my head. But yeah, that is where Charlie is. Oh, I forgot I'm not showing. So that is my Charlie update. He is 10 months old and doing well. He's special. He doesn't always think that he needs to use the rest of the cat climber to get down. So he'll launch himself off the highest rungs of it. He goes to jump on the kitchen table and only his front legs catch, and it's a wood table. So his back legs swing under and he lands on his back. Or he'll go to jump off the table if he made it all the way on and his front legs just can't take the impact and his chin hits. So, yeah, he is just a special baby and we're just going to keep loving him. And my husband will be back in a couple weeks. And yeah, so Charlie will be mine. Even though I have to medicate him the whole time. Maybe he'll still love me for it. Now that I'm not having to give him pain medications, he's not fighting so much. He hates the buprenorphine. He acts like it is the worst tasting thing in the world, but the steroid is just fine. So yeah, that's where we're at. If you all have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. And since I've complained about them in the past, and I'm still getting comments to this day on Charlie's video. No, I did not poison my cat or drug my cat or do anything and smash him onto the road so I could make a video about finding him in the road. That did not happen. Clearly, since he's got all these other issues that were genetic versus anything else. And thank you for thinking that my crafting skills are so good that I could put makeup on a cat to make him look like he was that sick. I'm flattered, I guess. You know, it is what it is. To me, I read these and some of the creativity that goes into thinking the worst of people is hilarious. YouTube doesn't allow some of them to even make it to the comment section. So if you do want to go back and look, some of them YouTube removed because of potty language and stuff like that. They have a held for review section. And even if I were to okay it, it won't let it pass because some of it was so bad. But yeah, and yes, he still uses the cat wheel, not as often. He'll do like a couple little sets on it about every day, but not a lot of running. But he wasn't doing a lot of running in a straight line anyways because of the head tilt. So we're hoping that that will get better. With the head tilt, you don't run or jump in a straight line. I never did get a video of him trying to jump because, you know, they just jump so quickly, but it would have been funny. As much as I love him, watching him aiming straight and then going off to the side, it was amusing. I can't help it. But yeah, people come up with crazy things. And hello to Rachel and Alan for sticking in here with me, and Lisa and Susie. So thank you all. And Ninja Mama was in here, Miss Sue. So thank you. I really appreciate that you all stuck in here with me for the Charlie update. I know it was a bit long. I tried not to. I take a lot of pictures and a lot of videos of Charlie, so I tried not to put everyone in here. I actually condensed it a lot, I promise. But I get so many people wanting to know updates about how he's doing, and knowing that I wanted to get x-rays and I just kept putting it off because I knew he'd have to be sedated. And now knowing that he was going to have ear surgery anyways, I put it off till then. He still has some growth plates that are notable in his x-rays, because he's just right at the edge of when they start filling out the rest of the growth plates, where they start getting more calcium to them and the plates connecting to the bone more. So it was good that we didn't do the x-rays at first, because it may have shown something that wasn't really there. And yeah, so I'm just looking at the comments real quick. Yeah, thank you for also agreeing that people are jerks. It's the funny thing, being someone on YouTube and not being a hot blonde 20-year-old. It is a different world for us. I was actually talking with someone who's may or may not be named Jared, that you may or may not know from Adventures with Purpose. And we were having this conversation yesterday, because, that's something that people kind of expect from YouTube is the young bucks, I guess you could say, instead of the almost 40-year-old fat women that have a lisp. I am perfectly comfortable in my skin. I know who I am. I know my body's not going to be changing because it hates me. And those of you, also those of you that are exercise junkies that get on my comments and tell me that I just need to exercise, you try having high blood pressure from a blocked kidney that gives you a migraine whenever your blood pressure goes up. And the doctor also telling you can't exercise for about the next year. So how am I supposed to exercise? You fat people haters. Okay, I'm not that fat, I'm just fluffy. But it is amazing what people tell you in videos. And yes, I am who I am. I'm not changing. I'm not stopping doing videos about educating people with cat toys. And I do have a really cool cat toy coming up. I am so thrilled. Okay, so I will give you kind of like a heads up so you can look into it. It's called Perini. It is a modular cat unit that is like flat panels that stick to each other on the sides that you can build all. It's like Legos, but a cat condo. You can do all sorts of different sizes. Right now they are in their they're not doing it through Indiegogo. What's the other raising money like campaign, before they actually launch the new product. But I've already bought into being part of the VIP program, which is $7, which actually gets you like half off in the end. So they're a gigantic set of like 200, 300 pieces is $200 versus $400. So, but I showed so much interest in it at first, and then not knowing that I was cat toy lady, that they offered to send me one of the starter kits of the small, like, I think it's like just 15 pieces or something. But that's going to be coming in the mail in the next week or so. So I will probably end up doing 2 videos on that. One, opening and putting together and testing out just the starter kit, so people know if the starter kit's even what they want to work with. For me, I would want probably the second layer up at least, just so I have more pieces to work with. But yeah, it's really, really neat. I wish I would have thought of it. I'll admit it. I won't hate. It's something that I think my cats will really like. It only comes right now in 2 colors, which people seem to be hating on. Or really, it's 1 color. It's the front and the back. On one side it's black, the other side it's orange, or black with orange trim, and then the other side is just kind of the black, and you can hide the trim if you fold everything inside out. But I mean, it's a startup. Can people really expect to have a variety of colors of something that is being handmade by people right now so they can offer it to the world? I'm sure when they can start mass producing it, then the price will go down, and they'll have color choices. But for right now, I don't care what color it is. I'm still going to offer it to my cats. And I think, I know for sure it'll hold up because I've seen the videos of it. The 10-pound, or soon to be 10-pound kittens. They're 9. But my Cindy is 17.5 pounds. So I want to try it out with her big butt. I want to see all the different things that you can make from it. I'm very, very excited for it. If Just think about if you had a whole bunch of cardboard boxes that were the same size and you had holes in some of them that were like windows and doors, and you were to make a giant castle out of it. That is basically what you're doing with these panels. So Purini, definitely check it out. If you become part of their VIP club, you might, and show interest and want to show them videos, you might even get a starter sample pack for yourself. Just saying. I don't know how much longer they're going to be doing that, but they are expecting to be able to start fulfilling orders within 2 months of the campaign actually launching, which should be happening this month. I think it's sometime in February they're officially launching. And I'm not trying to get anything from free. Yes, they're sending me one for free, but they didn't know I was Cat Toy Lady at the time. So I'm giving them props for that. But I'm not going to ask for anything for free for the big set because I want to give honest reviews of it. So I'll spend my own Cat Toy Lady money. I mean, that's what the money, the small amount that I do make from this channel, that is where it goes to, is buying cat toys and buying the different things to be able to try out. Some of them you never see because they are so horrible. And thank you, PetSmart, that they fall apart before I can even get the cat to play with them. And then I just take them back because I don't even want to show people what they are because they're that bad. Even though I really should, but I'd rather have happy, good toys on here, than a whole bunch of just this is crap, this is crap, this is crap. Even though I really could walk through the store at PetSmart and just do that. But they've already told me they don't care for filming, or at least in my local one. But I'm off on a rant. Look into Purrinni, I think it is. Oh, wait. I have a phone in front of me. Don't mind me. I have an email from them. I just got one last night. Let's see. Don't mind me as I scroll. I get a lot of emails, by the way. Never have an email that's the same since you're 11 years old. When you're 38, you get a lot of junk. But let's see. Okay, let's see. I can kind of show you this video, I think. You can see how the modular system goes together using the little orange tabs that can overlap on each other. And you can do lots of cool stuff. And like, I love that this video shows the inside. I can't wait to use the 360 in it. And then we have, yep, you can see that you can make all sorts of different climbers. Oh, I can actually, while I'm still on this rant, tell you the prices. So the very, very big set, when it's all said and done, the retail price is going to be $500 right now. It may drop in the future, I'm sure, when they can start mass producing. But the small set is $129. But if you're part of that like VIP club, it's $79 or $300. And I'm going to probably spend $300. I'll admit it. Because I did that $7 VIP club entrance thing, but their early bird price is just during the campaign. If you don't want to do the $7 one, it's $98 for the small and $378 for the large. And they do have 4 different packs. But let's see if I can show you anything from them. Let's see if it'll go into their website. And darn. So yeah. I got off on a rant and now I just really want to show you because it is just the neatest stuff. Purini cat. Let's see. Oh, purring cat. You gotta love autocorrect. Perini. Let's see if it pops up. There we go. Okay, so this is the picture I want to show you. Do you see the different modular stuff that you can do? How cool. So, yes, that is why I want to do it. That is why I'm off on this rant. And yeah, look for it. Hopefully it can show up this week, and then that'll be my video next Sunday. I did used to always have a Saturday schedule. I work now 5 days a week. Have kids that go to gymnastics. Have to take care of life. So it makes it a little bit harder when you have a full-time job and you're trying to pop out videos every single week. So videos are now going to be every Sunday, and normally I film on Saturdays for Sunday. Or like yesterday, I was getting everything ready to be able to show you and in the system. That way I could show you today. And also, I'd love to know how you like the live videos versus the instructional videos. Because I can do instructional, and I have in the past, live, so you can always interact. But I know people love live just because of the interacting part. But when it comes to my instructional stuff, would you rather something that's just kind of cut and dry, all the BS edited out, and then just showing you what you need for that product? Or would you like me talking to you kid-free, as I have learned? They are upstairs. My daughter is not bouncing around in the background, distracting me, because having a train of thought with seeing a kid bouncing back here is not going to happen in my head. Yeah, too ADD, too much of squirrel moments. I have those on my own. I don't need a kid helping add to that. Oh, Sue found the Perini site. I cannot wait. Again, if you didn't see the last video, since it's still sitting next to me, yeah. Cindy, once Ellie Mae had already killed 2 of these bags so far, Cindy comes up and just starts shredding the bag because she likes to make confetti. She is the cat that has eaten the kids' homework, that has eaten bills, that when, for my husband's stuff, for printing off packing slips or the packing things that go on the mail. Why can't I think of what it's called? But yeah, stuff for packing and shipping off the Nug gear. She has eaten the paper coming out of the printer. So by the time I make it to the printer, half the paper's already gone and shredded. So this, without anything in it, is just the best toy for that cat. So Ellie shreds it and eats the treats out of it. Charlie gets in a few of the treats that she drops. And then Cindy comes and shreds the bag. It's a win-win in my house. And again, paper bags are cheap. Cheap, cheap, cheap. So I am glad to give her something that she likes to kill. And it's better than my paper towel or toilet paper rolls. Both of which, if she gets a whole, Cindy gets a whole, or Kitty. God, which cat? Ellie Mae, the muted calico, the young one, Charlie's best friend, the one that this video is about. She's a toilet paper killer too. And so is the old cat, Kitty, should you be feeling her spunk that day. So when there's a toilet paper shortage, you want to kill your cats. But I will wrap things up for today. Definitely let me know if you do prefer the lives or just occasional lives, or if you just like the instructional. And why is my ring camera going off? Look, Amazon's here. It's a fun day. So yeah, just anything that I commented on, if you're curious about and need more information, I will, if I remember to, when I put a thumbnail on here, I will also put the link for Perini for you all to check them out. Let me see if there's any other. Oh, a montage video of him growing up. Oh, but I could. With a little bit of some pictures and videos mixed in. Maybe I'll do that for his 1-year birthday. Do you do birthday parties for your pets? Do you do birthday cakes, those type of things? We actually have a pet bakery that'll do a cat birthday cake. If I can ever find a weekday off. to do that because it's not the closest. It's like a 30-minute drive. But yeah, or maybe I'll make my own. Okay, maybe I will research and figure out the best way to make a birthday cake for the cat. One with, of course, no real sugar to it. One that might be tuna flavored or chicken flavored. He does love those pouches, those treat pouches that you see me use for the cats. Oh, he loves those. And yeah, so maybe I can do like a montage and then a different video of how to make a cat birthday cake if I can figure it out. It's the little things, you know. His birthday, I'm just calling it April Fool's Day because that seems fitting for him. So April 1st, he will be a 1-year-old baby. And yep, I think that's about it. Thank you all for joining me. I've said that a couple times now, but I swear this is it.